This feels inappropriate. Listen, I know it's been a couple years, but just bear with me. For the last little bit, I've been wanting to jump back in to social media, and I've had a lot of support by my boyfriend and my parents, but despite having that support, I couldn't really figure out why I wanted to go back, because I didn't. But through some time, I've realized that it was more so like the connection with other people that being online brought me, and just the ability to share my interests and my values and stuff like that with other people who have similar perspectives. But then it was like, I mean, I don't even know where to begin at this point. So I knew for the last couple of years that I wanted to make the jump over to YouTube, and put TikTok and, my other social medias not completely out of the picture, but maybe like on the back burner, because I felt like YouTube could integrate my hobbies a little better than, like a 30-second video on TikTok. I guess they have 10-minute videos now, which is absurd to me, but I just didn't want to rush into anything and put out content that I felt like I wasn't going to be proud of, But I didn't feel like I could jump on and make a video about how you make beaded curtains without like sitting down and having a conversation to those who have stuck around with me during my hiatus about the elephant in the room, which is my time on TikTok. It was 4 years ago now that I first started posting. The age difference between 17 and 21, there's a lot of drastic life changes that happen between those ages. So there will be kind of a lot for me to unpack in this video, but I did take notes, and I'm hoping to keep this as brief as I possibly can. I'm gonna try and cut out all the extra jibber jabber, okay? So I was 17 when I put out my first TikTok video. Shifting, or shift talk specifically, was something I was very interested in and I knew I wanted to be a part of, but never did I intend or strive to be like a micro influencer on that platform. It felt like it happened overnight. It pretty much did happen overnight. It began because I had a school project to make a fantasy scrapbook, any fantasy, existing fantasy storyline. I happened to choose Harry Potter because I had, grown up watching those movies. I was also viewing a lot of what was the beginning of Harry Potter shifting. Actually, I think the first thing I ever put up on my account was a script that I had made myself. And I remember I just posted it because I thought it looked nice, and I just happened to have good handwriting, and I think that's why people clicked on it. And then I decided that, I should try to post this scrapbook that I had spent a while making, because, maybe it could help give some inspiration to people to make their scripts or whatever. I had made a new account, had 0 followers, made a post about the script. I woke up the next morning to 12,000 followers. And truthfully, it's a bit unfair to those who have worked for years really hard to develop their platform and try and make a name for themselves online, because it was all just handed to me. I didn't have to work for anything in the beginning. I was ill prepared, don't get me wrong, but I was also incredibly grateful for that. But before I get too far into it, I do want to talk about shifting just in general. Already, since just re-downloading TikTok for the first time in a year and a half, I do see that I still do get the question of whether I still am involved with shifting or not. I am not here to bring you bad news, okay? I have seen that over the last couple years or so, creators who were kind of big in the shifting community came out and was like, hey, I was fibbing, sorry. I am not here to give you that message. I am no actor. But if there's one thing that I do agree with what I did during my time on the internet, was I felt like in terms of the topic of shifting, I stayed very authentic to my experiences and my beliefs on it. You may remember, but I would often talk about how I felt like shifting was maybe a part of lucid dreaming, and encouraged others to not be so upset if they're being told that it's a form of lucid dreaming. And mostly I stressed that so much because it was hard for me to, die on the hill of it's not lucid dreaming when there was such little research out there. I always had a lot of interest in quantum genres and multiple realities, but I never had 100% answer, and so I was very open-minded when it came to what shifting was, and I wanted other people to do the same. What I shared on TikTok was a lot of genuine content, and there was a lot of passion behind it, but as time went on, I was mentally giving out on it. I think that was incredibly apparent, and since being back on the app very briefly, I've noticed that some of the other large creators through shifting have also decided to post less and have taken more time for themselves, and I think that that's to be expected when your content is based around, a trend. It happened with me. So on top of just the fact that I was aging, I was also mentally depleting. I've touched on this before, but I've never gotten the opportunity to actually sit down and just talk about the effects that social media and shifting had on me. I was very thankful for all of that engagement, but I was very obsessive over it. I stopped pretty much everything that was important to me during that time. I've always been somebody who has a very close relationship with my family, with my friends. I always prioritized my health and exercise and education. I loved school. Having my platform, I would post multiple times a day, every day. And this also was around the time that COVID was shutting everything down for the first time. This was the summer of 2020 into the winter of 2021, and it was just really easy to fall into not paying attention to, my senior year of high school because it was online, and, not seeing my friends because of COVID. But because of this, I would sit in my room by myself, or some of you may remember my craft room, and from sun up to sundown, I would just be on my phone making content. Most of the time I didn't even sleep at night. I would stay up all night on lives. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning would hit, and I would vlog going to McDonald's to pick up some food. As a result of this schedule, I stopped seeing my family members. I stopped interacting with my friends. I gained a lot of weight, which I'm still trying to lose. I would always stress about how important mental health was and all of that, and it was, but I wasn't really taking my own advice because this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. And that's primarily why I left for so long. I don't regret a lot of my time on TikTok, but there are a few things that I wish would have gone differently. I was very immature at 17, and I think because of that, I wasn't mature enough to express my point of view of things correctly, and I didn't ever stick up for myself. And in addition to that, just up front, I would often talk about things I had no idea what I was talking about. I think that's where the internet really genuinely saw my immaturity. But the pressures of people essentially hating the shit out of me was not actually what pushed me off of the internet. I felt like shifting was turning me into a bad person, and being online was kind of turning me into a bad person. At least not the person that I wanted to be for others and myself. So I left, and I've been trying to integrate myself back into it ever since. It's also been a few years. So this part, I'll try and keep it nice and brief for those interested, but I think some life updates are in order, just, so we're on the same page. So when I officially left TikTok in the winter of 2021, it was right after my 18th birthday. My school started going back in person, kind of giving us the option, and I stayed online for a while, but I was a 4-term class president, so that kind of helped me make my way back into in-person because I had to deal with graduation and all that stuff, which was really nice. In high school, my friend group was just me and 2 other girls, and that's how it was throughout all of high school. There was a friend group of guys that were very similar to me and my friends, but we never really hung out. I never dated much in high school. Some of you may remember I was very anti, like, love. I don't know. I think I just never really had a good relationship. Following graduation, we decided to kind of combine the friend groups, and that's how I met my boyfriend. He's a ginger. We've been together for 3 years now, almost. So that's been a big part of my life, and has changed my perspectives about a lot. My bugs, I'm itchy. So I live with him now. We share this room with our 2 cats, Mr. Muffins and Piper. I'm sure they'll be making their appearances. I went to a community college right out of high school for business management, but the community college kind of screwed me over, so recently I transferred to Southern New Hampshire University, but I'm graduating next year with a bachelor's in business administration and management, which is crazy because I started my TikTok this summer before my senior year of high school, and I'm getting old and I'm feeling it. Let's see what else. My snake Morty is no longer with us. He quite literally ran away and died. I don't know how. I don't even know how he got out of the tank to begin with. Yeah, he got out of his tank and slithered down a vent, I'm assuming, and died. Or he could still be alive in my house. I'm not quite sure. Pretty much every snake hater's worst nightmare. I'm chuckling a little bit about it just because I've had time to cry. So, other than that, I want to wrap this up by prefacing something. I have mentioned that I was coming back to social media about 1 million times before. And I'll show up a couple days and then all of a sudden I disappear. I spoke a little bit about it earlier, but basically I just was lacking a lot of passion for anything involving social media. It was very intimidating to come back to. Especially when you're a creator over a trend, because when that trend dies, then it kind of feels like I didn't feel like I would interest anybody with my lifelong hobbies. And over the last year or so, I've sort of realized that social media will probably never be a career for me. It will never get to that point, but it certainly can be a hobby. If anything, it's for me to look back at my past projects. I'm more serious about this now. I am coming at it from a much more analytical and planned approach than I was previously. I've also realized that, the 200-300 people maybe that are left here to support me, I just want to provide videos that bring some sort of comfort, at the end of the day to sit down and watch. I often look back at what I've posted now and cringe a lot because there was no artistic anything behind it, and that drives me crazy because I do consider myself to be a pretty artistic person, especially in videography, which, if you don't know, I did for many years freelance for many businesses. So I'm better than that, but I hope to record and edit as many as I can that I'm happy with, until I get, into the groove of things and maybe have a normal uploading schedule. In terms of the content that I want to bring to YouTube, I'm shifting my focus into much more lifestyle stuff. I love crafting and I love making things, and I have a very big passion for interior decorating, despite what it looks like behind me. Listen, if you've never had a man move into your space, it's rough, okay? But I think that will be a point of interest on my channel, is, slowly but surely taking every corner of my room and redoing it. And I may even throw in some vlogs from time to time, or maybe like cooking or baking vlogs. I love to cook and bake, so overall, just more lifestyle content that I'm hoping to bring. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to just sit down and speak my piece. It was important to me to do this for me, selfishly. And I'm sure for, some who were wondering, it kind of gives some clarification. I hope to have my first official video out very soon. And until then, thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you later.